What is a telltale sign that someone is a selfish person? Every bad thing you do to them is drama-worthy. And #X200B. Every bad thing they do to you are details and should be moved on from. And why can't you just do that? You're so dramatic. Edit after 14K. I never thought that being so upvoted would make me feel so sad. It's heartbreaking that so many people can relate to this. I am reading every reply that are addressed to me. Thank you for sharing, Red Heart. Conversations don't feel like conversations. They are one-sided talks about what they want. Their thoughts, their life, their priorities, etc. When you are able to slip a word in, your words are used as transitions in their dialogue. No matter how you format your words, they all just add to the plot of their story. What you say and what you do are pawns in their game to be manipulated in a way that belittles your experiences, actions, opinions, and choices. When every single bad thing that happens to another person gets spun around into their personal problem, e.g. I am really upset because my family member is going through X. Doesn't think they're wrong in the slightest bit. They can't shoulder any bit of responsibility. I love these threads. I always use them as a way to measure whether I'm doing those things or not and fix them if I am. They gladly take any favors you do for them. But when asked if they could reciprocate once, they get defensive and/or aggressive and act like you're the selfish one for daring to expect something in return. It doesn't make you a bad person to expect reciprocation in a relationship with someone else. Romantic or platonic. Relationships are give and take, and that makes them healthy. It's not entitlement to expect kindness if you give kindness. If you're the only one giving, you're being taken advantage of. Edit. As some people have pointed out, doing something kind with the expectation to gain something from it can be manipulative. I'm not talking about narcissism and manipulation. I'm talking about the natural give and take in a relationship. It is not manipulative to expect certain things out of a relationship, depending on what kind of relationship it is. The whole reason we make relationships is because they give us something, whether that be support, love, safety, or other advantages. It isn't a bad thing. It's a human thing. Typically, with give and take, if you notice a pattern of one person consistently taking without giving, the one taking is the problem, not the one giving. The kind of people who use this as a manipulation tactic aren't the ones who stick around in a relationship for years, doing favors and kind things without being asked to. They're more likely to do one favor and demand twice as much in return. Why do I know this? I've had these people in my life, which is what gave me the realization I commented above. They respond how worse their situation is when you're sharing your problems with them. No try for help or listening. Just trying to draw attention on their side look of triumph. If they always talk about themselves, they bring nothing to the potluck but are first in line. My ex was insanely selfish. Her dad gave her a $20K a month allowance, plus paid for her mortgage on a penthouse in NYC while she went to Yale. He paid her car plus insurance. She had zero need for cash. All bills are paid. He also gave her a credit card with I am assuming no limit. 'Cause we bought a car on a whim once. But I saw her steal $3 from a friend who was passed out. She'd steal panties from Walmart. She had a pile of cash in her bedroom. We once needed to pay for a delivery. IDK if it was bagels or pizza, but she refused to touch the pile of cash. I had to walk to my car to get cash. And when I tipped her $10 for waiting, my ex went ballistic, calling me a bitch, a moron and queer. 'Cause, why would you give a random porky bitch $10 for $5 worth of food? We went to a celeb wedding. She found a way to take 4 gift baskets as opposed to the 2 we were supposed to get. Every guest got one. She also stole a $500 gift card to Victoria's Secret from the wedding. She's wicked greedy. If you are in a group and there is one person that is constantly interrupting the middle of what you or anyone else is saying, generally to brag about themselves with a one-upper story, is generally a precursor to stop associating with them. I've met too many of them in my days, and they are more often than not happy to throw you under the bus whenever the opportunity arises. When anything that happens to them is the worst thing in the world, and whatever happens to you is not that bad and a waste of time talking about or dealing with. I know your mom died a month ago, but my best friend of 3 years died too, so I don't see why you are so sad all of the time. I think narcissism and selfishness go hand in hand, so there you go. Cliché answer, but I have found the return the shopping cart test to be pretty accurate. It is such a small thing. But it does tell you if a person thinks small things like that matter. For me, it's people who listen to loud tick-tock in public. Especially in relatively silent places. They don't remember the times people helped them. But remember clearly all the times they have helped others. They're rude to waitstaff or just staff and employees in general. Or if their situational awareness is severely lacking and they don't seem to have a problem with it. They have that superpower to lead everything back to themselves. Even when you're actually talking about your own life or a specific problem of yours. They somehow make it that you start talking about them instead without even changing the topic. A visible exoskeleton. Edit. Oh. Selfish. Complaining at work to coworkers doing your work for you while you complain. They feel no remorse for how they've hurt others. They want to dig up your dead dog to use the skull for taxidermy purposes and is insistent on doing it despite your objections. When they always play the victim card. 99% of the time they only place themselves in the victim seat by ignoring all the effort or cost other people have to endure and only focus on what they go through themselves. If they refuse to take responsibility for their actions. They never admit when they are wrong, even if there is physical evidence. Poor listener. When they think everything is a competition. I had a girl pull my sleeve up once and saw my old cuts, then blurted out, "I have way more than you skull." They're surprised and disgruntled when you accept what they've offered. Example. I used to be friends with someone who loved to offer stuff. "I have some cute maternity clothes that would fit you. I can lend them to you if you want. I can help you rearrange your classroom. I'll come in early tomorrow. I made such a great apple pie. I can bring you a piece." These aren't things that anyone solicited, she offered them up. Yet she 100% expects that everyone will politely decline her offers. I'm a yes person. Anything you offer to me, I will happily accept. The look on her face when I would resent, "That wow'd be great. Thanks," was always priceless. She never followed through with any of it. But she never stopped offering stuff. And I never stopped accepting. It was kind of hilarious. One of my workmates had her drink taken from the fridge by someone else. When she put up a sign on the fridge to remind people not to take things, another guy asked her why she was doing it. She explained her drink was taken, and without skipping a beat he said, "Oh yeah. That's because someone took mine." So not only willing admitting to doing JT, but his justification was that someone did it to him? So yeah, I'd say that. When they monologue at you. Every conversation is just them performing and everyone else is just part of the audience. When they are unable to see beyond their own needs and feelings. And aren't capable of recognizing when they're impacting the people around them in negative ways. Another sign of a selfish person is when they're driven only by their own self-interests. And don't care about how their actions might affect others. Legit, they often say it straight up. Like it's self-care. Creating or opening Reddit threads on selfishness to find out if it's really them that's the problem or if Marissa's actually totally full of shit. I can't believe you, Marissa. Trauma dumping and then not reciprocating if someone else had a bad day, felt comfortable enough to open up to them. Combative comparisons. This is what I call it when someone always has a response to what you are talking about that somehow always seems to one-up you. It doesn't matter what you are talking about. Somehow. They always have a better or worse story that puts yours aside. It's intended to invalidate what you are speaking about and remove the attention from you onto them. Pay close attention to people who practice this malicious style of conversation. You will be glad you made note of it, as usually this is not only selfish, but very narcissistic in nature. They throw other people under the bus so fast you'll get whiplash if you stand too close. Whether to save themselves or to humiliate the competition. No self-accounting at all. People who have kids on purpose. And then act like their kids owe them, well above and beyond basic kindness and human respect, for the rest of their lives. When they go out clubbing or something. And bring their friends back home to continue the party at 2 a.m. However, he lives in a house share and his roommates have to go to work in the morning. Ever since I told him to break up the party and that it isn't appropriate. Especially since he didn't mention to anyone that he decided to have a 2 a.m. Wednesday night party. He complied. But ever since then he's been unpleasant and unfriendly with me. Cunt. When you have a conversation about something in your life, finish what you have to say. Then the other person says nothing about that and completely changes the subject. People who always talk about money or the grind. Usually they will sell you out in a heartbeat or take advantage of others for money, which is pretty selfish. Someone who always puts themselves first and disregards the feelings of others is a telltale sign of being selfish. They only message you when they need a favor. If you ask how are you, and they can't even be bothered to ask you the same. No thank you or compliments. My cousin, when I cook food, she won't just say normal shit like thank you for the food. It's really good. Instead she says, is it bad I actually like this food? Is it bad I am craving that pasta you made? You think that's bad? They treat problems and other topics of conversation like a competition. I'm just telling it like it is. They state their opinions like they're indisputable facts that others must agree with. That's just how I am. Their behavioral flaws are forces of nature that can't be changed, regardless of how others are affected. No offense. But __. Their validation is so important. They will say whatever they want. And they feel entitled to choose how others feel about it. Selfish people can't recognize their mistakes. They are never the problem. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to drop a like. If you would like to see more content like this in the future, subscribe and turn on notifications to be notified about future videos. Now check out one of these interesting videos.